Right now at noon, Ottawa County residents have a chance to get a storm shelter with help from a FEMA grant.
We started our day with cloudy skies and some showers and storms clearing out as we head into the afternoon. More rain on the way, though. The latest on your forecast coming up.
Plus, the hacking of a presidential campaign and some new policy statements. What both Trump and Harris have to say this weekend.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Ottawa County residents in need of a storm shelter now have an opportunity to apply for a FEMA grant that offers a potential $3,000 rebate. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Snowy. To qualify, applicants must be homeowners. The storm shelter must be for their primary residence, and the property cannot already have a storm shelter. Residents interested in applying can meet with the Ottawa County Emergency Management. Applications will continue to be accepted for the next 3 weeks. Well, KDOT announces the opening of the cost share program application. According to KDOT, the program provides financial assistance to local entities for construction projects that will improve safety and improve the transportation system. Projects eligible to apply for the program are roadway, rail, airport, and public transit projects. The deadline to submit an application is September 19th. If you would like to apply, we have a link on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's Chris with a look at the forecast.
Yeah, we had some showers and storms this morning. Nothing strong, nothing severe, and we're not anticipating any severe weather with the thunderstorms coming in tomorrow either, which is good news. Just some much-needed rainfall. Earlier this morning, we had cloudy, dark skies over Joplin. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline showing us that there, and same from our camera on the Cornell complex. In fact, we stayed pretty dreary in Joplin for a while before we saw any kind of shower activity out there. KDOT camera 69 Kansas Crossing south of Pittsburgh this morning, also with those cloudy skies to start the day. We had some rain showers overnight. Things began to dry out, and then we were left with additional scattered showers and storms this morning. All of that activity, of course, continued to push off to the east-southeast, and back behind it we have clearing skies, and that's going to impact, though, how many of us get to certain temperatures today. We started yesterday at 64, made it to 83, so a below normal day for us. Again, not bad by any means. Our temperature trend, though, shows us going at to above normal over the next few days across the area as temperatures begin to heat up once we get past some of this rainfall. Through the rest of this evening, we're looking at partly cloudy skies, falling back to mid-70s by midnight. Clouds will start to gradually increase, and after midnight, we could see some additional initially isolated to widely scattered showers and storms before we see more widespread shower and thunderstorm activity for our Tuesday morning. We're going to go over those details with you in the full forecast and talk about that heat here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, 2 people are dead following a crash in McDonald County. It happened at 2:35 this morning on Route EE, 2 miles west of Lanigan, Missouri. According to Missouri State Highway Patrol's crash report, the vehicle drove off of the right side of the road, hitting a cement box culvert and overturned. The driver, Caden Rock of Lanigan, and another occupant, a juvenile, were pronounced dead at the scene. A police officer is fighting for his life after protests in Ferguson, Missouri turned violent. The protest took place to mark the 10th anniversary of the police-involved shooting death of Michael Brown. Travis Cummings reports.
10 years later, I got an officer fighting for his life. It's enough, and I'm done with it.
Ferguson Police Chief Troy Doyle emotional as he addresses a demonstration that turned destructive overnight outside the department on Friday. The same day Michael Brown was killed by a Ferguson police officer 10 years ago.
We allowed the protesters to block our streets out here. Not only did we allow the protesters to block our street, we even provided a car on the north end and on the south end, so the protesters couldn't get hit by vehicles.
But then the chief says protesters started to shake and break the department's fence.
It was at that time I sent out an arrest team to make an arrest for destruction of property.
3 officers were injured, 1 with severe brain damage. Police say they even stepped in to help one demonstrator with a seizure. Residents and others have their own recollection of the night.
Never was there an order issued that it was an unlawful assembly. So police came out, rushed into a crowd, panicked, it was melee. So I would definitely put that the onus on the injuries that happened last night was on the police department.
One of the people that did get detained, when she went up with her camera, with her phone, she got pushed back. I got it on film. That agitated the situation.
Doyle maintains they've done the work to be better.
Everything that the activist community has advocated for, as far as body-worn cameras, implicit bias training, crisis intervention training, all this stuff, we have done all of this. What are we protesting?
The chief wants the people his officers work for to show them and this community's history respect.
We want people to peacefully protest, but we damn sure ain't gonna allow you to destroy this city, and we ain't gonna allow you to hurt none of these police officers.
The injured officer suffered a severe brain injury, and police say he is fighting for his life. Police also say several protesters were arrested and their investigation is continuing. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley made his first stop in his kickoff tour in Webb City, Missouri this weekend. Senator Hawley spoke to a crowd in front of the Route 66 Theater about his plans for his election campaign.
Well, number one, close the border. I mean, we've got to get the border closed. Number two, we got to take on the prescription drug companies, the pharma companies, get the cost of prescription drugs down. We got to bring jobs back to this state and this country, reopen American energy production, and get the energy flowing again, get our farmers working again, get wages up. There's a tremendous amount to do because of the damage that's been done.
Senator Hawley ran uncontested in the primary, and he's set to face Democratic nominee Lucas Kunce and Libertarian nominee W.C. Young in November. New concerns over cyber threats to the 2024 presidential race have emerged after the Trump campaign said over the weekend that it was hacked. It comes as Vice President Kamala Harris and a running mate, Tim Walz, wrapped up a campaign tour through several key battleground states. Though one new campaign promise from Harris has drawn backlash from former President Donald Trump. Chris Lawson has more from New York.
Wow. Over the weekend, former President Donald Trump said his campaign was hacked, and he blamed Iran. Both Politico and The Washington Post reported that they had received what appeared to be internal Trump documents, including research on Trump's running mate J.D. Vance from an anonymous email account.
What I think we're seeing is the Russification of Iranian information operations.
On Sunday, Trump falsely claimed Vice President Kamala Harris's rally crowds were fake on social media, and he lashed out at this pledge Harris made to more than 12,000 people in Las Vegas over the weekend.
When I am president, we will continue our fight for working families of America, including to raise the minimum wage and eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
The Trump-Vance campaign called Harris a copycat for echoing Trump's earlier proposal to end taxes on tips. Meanwhile, Vance voiced support for a Democratic policy, the child tax credit, on CBS's Face the Nation Sunday.
We should expand the child tax credit. If you think about what the child tax credit does.
You and the Biden administration agree on the child care tax credit?
Well, we think it should be bigger.
Also on CBS News Sunday, President Joe Biden gave his first interview since dropping out of the 2024 race.
A number of my Democratic colleagues in the House and Senate thought that I was going to hurt them in the races. And I thought it'd be a real distraction.
The president also said he plans to campaign for Harris. Carissa Lawson, CBS News.
So far, Iran's representative to the United Nations has ignored requests for comments on the Trump campaign's hacking claims. Well, coming up, cancer cases are expected to nearly double in the next 20 years worldwide. We'll have the details on who is the most at risk. And later, we're making fancy fast chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Cancer cases and deaths among men are expected to nearly double by 2050. A new study published in the journal Cancer says seniors and those living in lower developed countries will bear the brunt of those increases. Researchers say men have higher cancer rates because they don't avoid risk factors or get screened as much as women. Universal free meal programs at school lowers obesity and suspension rates, and researchers with Texas A&M analyzed 6 studies that covered 11,000 elementary, middle, and high schools. The data also showed greater meal participation by students, but only a slight improvement in attendance rates. And the FDA approved a needle-free version of the EpiPen. Neffy, made by ARS Pharmaceuticals, is an epinephrine nasal spray that can be used to treat anaphylaxis and other allergic reactions in both children and adults. The FDA said Neffy's approval came because studies found comparable epinephrine blood concentrations between the spray and injection products. Well, still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Asking me what my favorite recipe is like
asking a parent which child is their favorite. They might have one, but no one's ever going to admit it.
And we are tracking more thunderstorm chances on the way for our Tuesday, and then hot temperatures as well. We'll take a look at your forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at Noon. We started our day off with some cloud cover, some showers, some thunderstorms, no severe weather, which is always good news. And we've had drought conditions beginning to form in parts of southeastern Kansas, and that's exactly where some of this heavier rainfall was earlier this morning. So here's a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker from earlier. We had all this activity flaring up and then moving off to the east-southeast out there, and that's left clearing skies back behind it. And depending on how much clearing you do today is going to determine just how warm you get across the area. For the rest of this afternoon, again, the clearing skies. Future track shows maybe an isolated shower or two. I do believe we're going to be pretty well done with the rain through the evening. And again, if you get a little more cloud cover a little longer, some of you may only make highs into the low 80s, but the majority of us are looking to warm into the upper 80s today. As we head into the evening and overnight hours, we're initially partly cloudy, then we'll start to see clouds kind of increasing after midnight. That's when we're going to see an opportunity initially for isolated to widely scattered showers and storms. But as the morning progresses, we'll see more widespread shower and thunderstorm activity begin to push through the area, bringing some additional much needed rainfall out there. And I think the best news so far with our thunderstorm chances between today and tomorrow is we're not anticipating any severe weather. And at this point, we don't need that, but we do need some rain. And that'll continue through noon. Now, the difference between today's storms and tomorrow's storms is afternoon, we're looking at that possibility tomorrow for at least some isolated to widely scattered showers and storms to potentially linger around the area through the early evening hours before all of that begins to clear out. As we head into our Wednesday, though, we're looking at mostly clear skies, and Wednesday is going to start a day where temperatures are going to begin to take off across the region, and we're going to be uncomfortably hot. Wednesday, we could also see heat index values potentially at 100 degrees, maybe a little above. So keep that in mind over the next couple of days. Again, for most of us today, we're going to go into the upper 80s. We'll get some clearing done out there. The south breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. And as I mentioned, some of you may only make the low 80s. Again, not that that's a bad thing. Below normal is not bad, especially in August. Overnight tonight, back into the low 70s, and again, partly cloudy skies initially, and we'll start to see at least a few isolated to widely scattered storms after midnight, with those increasing in coverage in the morning hours on our Tuesday. We're going to make about 90, so about a degree shy of where we should be for this time of year. Southeast breeze tomorrow, 5 to 10. And again, our best chances for more widespread shower and thunderstorm activity is going to come before 1 o'clock tomorrow, but we could still see some additional isolated to widely scattered showers and storms between, say, 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. on our Tuesday before that begins to clear out as well. Our Wednesday, again, hot and muggy, just uncomfortable, a very, very August-like day. Above average temperatures, mid-90s, heat index values around 100, maybe a little above with sunny skies. We'll see clouds increasing on our Thursday. Could see a few evening thunderstorms out there, but still hot and muggy, mid-90s. And once we get beyond that, we're going to stay hot, and it's going to be uncomfortable, but at least we're not soaring as we head into the weekend and next week. We'll have those temperatures going into the low to mid-90s. So just be prepared for summer to return. We had a nice break toward the end of last week and through the weekend, but those August temperatures are going to come back as we head into the second half of this week.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, the first day of fall is still over a month away, but already retailers are releasing their pumpkin spice products. Starting today, Krispy Kreme is serving up its pumpkin spice cake donut and pumpkin spice latte. 7-Eleven released a pumpkin spice Slurpee earlier this month, but at just 5 locations. And Dunkin' has announced the release of an alcoholic spiked pumpkin spice iced latte. That'll be sold at grocery and package stores in 27 states. Well, stick around. We're making fancy fast chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Howard is showing us how to make fancy fast chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
The one question that I get asked lots is, what's your favorite recipe? Well, that's like asking a parent which of their children they love more. I just can't choose a favorite. However, I do have a handful of go-to recipes like the one I'm sharing with you today. We start by placing some chicken breast in a baking pan and topping each piece with a slice of Swiss cheese. On top of that go some sliced mushrooms. Now, for the sauce that makes this dish so moist and flavorful, we combine a can of cream of chicken soup with some white wine and pour it over the mushrooms. Now we sprinkle the top with a generous amount of dry stuffing mix. This is going to give these some real crunch. We drizzle on a little melted butter and into the oven it goes until the chicken is cooked through and the topping is browned. Doesn't this look amazing? One forkful is all it takes to realize just how moist and flavorful it is. To get the recipe for what we call Fancy Fast Chicken, all you have to do is visit our website. That way, you'll have one of my all-time favorite go-to recipes right at your fingertips. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a 2 thumbs up way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can, of course, find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
All right, so we're going to have, again, clearing skies into the afternoon. Most of us upper 80s. We'll have some thunderstorms after midnight tonight with more organized activity before 1 p.m. tomorrow. Then maybe a few isolated storms after that. Hot and muggy Wednesday, upper 90s. Heat index values approaching 100. A few evening storms Thursday and hanging out in the low to mid 90s through the weekend and next week.
That muggy heat looks like it's on the return.
Yes, inevitably it is August after all.
That is true. Well, what do you have for us tonight, Dal?
Lots coming up at 5. For starters, sales of e-bikes and e-scooters have skyrocketed in recent years, and with them, well, so have the safety concerns. They are faster and in many cases bigger and heavier than traditional bikes. The number of deaths and injuries involving the devices has grown dramatically. We're going to take a look at how some cities are trying to prevent those accidents. Plus, the McDonald County, Missouri School District is seeing a teacher boom, as they describe it, after a new 4-day school week drives record teacher recruitment, and how 4 state police departments are keeping canine units safe in these hot temperatures. Hope you join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's coming up today. KOAM News at 5.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dal. And that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5. Until then, have a great rest of your day.